Hi, this is Hannah Erica, and I'm doing a tutorial on a distressed scarf. And I bought two pairs of extra large denim jeans at the thrift store, and now I'm just cutting my measurements, which I did use 8 inches, I guess, as far as width, and different lengths for the scarves. I decided to use this flannel, really nice soft flannel material fabric that I bought for another project, and I had it left over, and I thought it would be nice and soft on the scarf. So what I did was, after I cut my pieces, I pinned the material to the scarf pieces, the denim pieces, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut them out because they're going to get sewn together before I put the scarf together. And so I chose a lighter denim and a darker denim because I didn't really want to get into the bleach. If I can just buy the right colors, I won't have to bleach everything, save myself some money, and of course have a nice scarf at the end of it. And what I want to do with this scarf is, after I sew it together, I'm going to make sure it has a nice distressed look. And I also want it to have an option of being a halo scarf or being an open scarf. So I'm going to do something with it you're going to see in a minute. And so right now I'm just taking all the square pieces that I have and pinning them and putting them all together onto a scarf, onto the fabric, so that I could make sure that's all together. And I put that one away from the edge a little bit because sometimes when you buy material, it will be some edge of no color at all, like nothing. It was just like a plain edge, and I had to cut that off because I don't want the scarf to have that on it. This is fairly easy to make. It just takes a lot of patience and just have some time to kind of work on it if you're good with measuring and cutting. And then everything is pretty straight. So when you sew it, you just have to, when you put it underneath the needle to sew, it's pretty much simple. It's pretty simple. And so I'm just making sure I have a different color for the light one. I'm using like it's like a grayish looking beige or something I'm using for one of them. And then the other one is like the blue. I'm just sort of mixing it up because I don't want to be just one plain scarf. I want it to be sort of boho, kind of like a lot of different colors and just a lot going on. But it's not going to be too much going on where, you know, people who aren't into the boho thing would not want to wear it. So it's pretty simple. I see I got all my pieces cut out, so now I'm going to start sewing it and basically going around in a square. It's pretty simple. If anyone knows how to do a sewing machine for basic stitches, this is pretty easy. There's nothing else really required. I do have the needle for denim in there because sometimes needles aren't strong enough to handle denim. So you have to just check with your machine and check with the needles and make sure you have a needle that can handle, thicker material, because you don't want to break the needle. And so now I sewed them all together. I sewed them individually, and then I wound up sewing um, them together in a row. And now I'm just doing little slits just to make sure after I wash it and dry it, it will be distressed. So I started, putting slits in there, just little nips and cuts all around. So all of that part is going to be distressed. But what I'm going to do to the scarf is make a closure possible so that it can be worn open or closed. And that's with buttons. Right there I'm doing the measurements for the buttons. And then this is the button presser foot. So you have to put the button in back so I can measure it right. And then I have the measurement, the chalk, right on top of where it needs to be to create the hole. And then now I'm starting to sew it. And I pull the lever down. So I'm showing you this actually the second one I'm making because I already did the first one. And there it go. And I'm just trying to stop the needle. So there's how it look, how you make buttonholes. But now you have to actually open the buttonholes. And that's what I'm going to use, the seam ripper, to open the slits for the buttonholes. I did the measurements to pretty good, the best I could up against it, but it's always a good idea to just, you know, after you cut open the slits, to just do a little quick check to make sure that the buttons are going to go through it. If not, that could be a big mess. So I carefully opened the slits and then I decided to push the button through just to get an idea if it's all good. So it was a little rough at first, but it's a brand new hole, so slid through. And so now I had to put the buttons on the other side. So I already put the chalk on it, but I just was demonstrating what I did, basically to make sure they're in the right position. And then I'm going to start stitching the buttons so I can create a closure. And after I did all this, I don't show it, but I actually put it back through the washer and the dryer to make sure it created that distressed look. And then I had to use a roller, the sticky roller, to pick up the extra lint. Washing denim and distressing creates a lot of lint in the dryer, so that's something you have to like watch out for, and clean your lint catcher so that you won't have too much in the dryer, so you won't accidentally mess your dryer up with all the lint. It makes so much lint. So now I'm just kind of double checking what I did, making sure the buttons are going to close over it. And then after I wash it and dry it, I had to just kind of, you know, oh, these are some of the looks I've done with it, different things you can do with it. Open, close. But I have to say this is my absolute favorite right here. Subscribe.